It is December 12th, 12 p.m. I am doing my 2025 year in review. Dr. Trudy Behrman here. Thank you for watching live or later. This has been a year, and this is going to be a pretty quick review. I just had to do this review so that I clear my cache, my mental cache for this year as I prep for 2026. Already many things are in the works for 2026, but I just wanted to share with you because many of you have been on this journey with me. I just want to tell you I appreciate you so much, and you'll recognize where I'm saying you have all been with me because there's just so much that has happened. So much growth has happened in this year, and I just really want to acknowledge all that God has blessed me with and all of you who have shared this journey with me. So let me get started and let us jump in. Now, I am watching along on my phone, and it looks like there is a delay of some sort on that. So if you all could help me with that, because why is it starting over? All right. Let me check another place. I just want to make sure that this is actually, normally I'd have my son helping me, but it's the end of the year and he has some things going on for himself. His friends are relocating and stuff, so he's trying to get himself prepared for all of his activities. So I released him from that for today. And so I'm kind of by myself, which is not so fun. And let me see what is happening on Facebook, because that might help me to figure out what's going on. Switch. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. Yeah. Okay. 2025 year in review. I believe this is all good, so let's keep going. Yes, so this year I graduated with my doctorate from Liberty University. Guys, that was a haul. There were so many times I thought I was just going to quit. And here's the reason why. First of all, I started this program because some of you, depending on how long you've been following me, know that I was hospitalized for a while, and that hospitalization had me mobile-wise down for a year. That took a hit on my business in terms of my ability to actually execute my mindset. I was in a lot, there was some depression that came with it. Just a lot of stuff was going on at that time. I had to have home health come in. I couldn't really move around. I had these horrible, nasty things on my legs. Anyway, because I was on my back, I decided to go back to school. Having decided to go back to school, I'm of that mindset that I wanted to finish what I started. I didn't want all of that expense and have nothing to show for it. But there were so many times during those years I wanted to quit, but I'm here to tell you I did not quit. I did not quit. I am done. I have my doctorate in strategic leadership. I started on the psychology track and was a couple of semesters into that, and then I changed gears because I realized, based on how the program was written, that the psychology track was a true research track. And psychology, I assumed, was more behavioral science. It was more the research side of it, doing a lot of research, observing humanity in its existence, documenting that. And then it was the behavioral scientists, for the most part, that would take that data and apply it. So I realized that wasn't really the space I wanted to be in. I switched over to strategic leadership. I have not yet released my research in the form of a book, but that is coming. But if you are an academic, the research is up on ResearchGate, and a lot of people have already been reading it. Some interesting findings came out of that research, especially if you are an entrepreneur, CEO, founder. Lots of things came out of that research, which I will address in a book form later, but has already influenced my business right now. So number one, I completed my doctorate. That was done at the end of May of this year. And I am so happy that that is behind me. Now, what that did do is allow me in June to step in, or about mid-June, to step in full time into my role here at PSI TV. And when that happened, prior to that, it was experiences, especially a lot of TV interviews. I would just interview people and that would kind of wrap up the relationship. But now I'm able to really use what I came to TV for in the true sense of what that is. Because remember, my illness interrupted that original plan. So I'm now full-time at PSI TV. During this full-time experience, I also launched from YouTube. I launched UGC TV on Roku, UGC User Generated Content TV. A lot of you are familiar with user generated content. That is what Instagram and YouTube and all these, including Facebook, all of these platforms do not of themselves generate content. It is you and I that generate content, user generated content. And what I realized from data that came out from YouTube is that so many people, well, first of all, YouTube grew on TV as a platform, and the data that YouTube put out as a result of getting more TV views was of data insight for me, because it showed that viewership on television was escalating because the viewership to YouTube from the TV platform just skyrocketed this year. And not only did it tell me that more people were watching television, but guess what? When the big box boys like Paramount and Stars and HBO and all these, even Netflix, ran out of content, guess where people went? They went to places like YouTube to watch content that you and I create, which was very exciting for me in the TV space, especially because I build TV channel apps for brands. I've built several. Actually, I probably should have considered adding them here. This year, I added, even though I was in school, I may be incorrect, but I'm 100% sure I launched 3 channels. I may have launched more than that. I launched Crossover. My church that I go to, Crossover Church, they had Flavorfest. They launched a TV channel for Flavorfest. And then I launched, I definitely launched one for Marcia Ebanks. Hers is called Redeeming Grace TV. And there was another, but I honestly, I had not prepared to mention that. I have a list of things here, and I totally forgot to include that. Well, and I also launched UGC TV. Those three for sure. I probably did more, but those three new channels were launched as channel apps that I built. UGC TV, Redeeming Grace TV, Flavorfest TV. These are all examples of content that you and I are creating, and now it's on TV. The beauty of TV over YouTube, guys, YouTube is great. You should be there. But when you go to YouTube, even if you go to YouTube on TV, page 1 of YouTube is littered with everything YouTube knows you want to watch. It is very distracting. There's so many things on the screen for you to choose from. But when you open a television app, like a Netflix app, like a PSI TV app, like a UGC TV app, once you first of all, you go to that app, there's nothing else but that app. And when you open it up, there's no distracting ding, 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 trying to take you off the channel. And the beauty of UGC TV, the reason why I created it is because PSI TV's format is I interview guests. UGC TV allows me to receive videos from you that you've already created that you want to share with the world. So I was excited to launch UGC TV. Some of you watching may have been on the launch with me because I had a few people live on that launch, and several more that should have been live, but something went wrong with the links. And so yes, UGC TV was one of the things that was launched this year. Very exciting. Also with UGC TV, I have opened up the opportunity for income for you because I have authorized media brokers. What does that mean? If you're in the space where you are a publisher or you're a podcaster or something like that, you could add as an upsell to where you upsell to your existing audience, hey, if you'd like this content to also be on TV, I can get it there. And the thing about that is I'm not the one launching the content on UGC TV. It's only going through my authorized media brokers, and they have set their own prices. So if this is something of interest to you, definitely hit me up, and then you too can become an authorized media broker for UGC TV. You set your prices, and then those videos that you receive get launched on TV as well. The next year in review thing, and I promise you, the picture on the left, I had to hunt for it. I have lost 35 pounds. I'm still a big girl. I'm still a big girl. The picture on the right, I took this morning, and I tried to recreate the pose from the 2024. The 2024 image you're looking at was actually video footage that I caught, and I had to isolate this screen because if you watched any of my videos, they're all talking heads, like what this one is. It's just from my chest up. So my body was not on display, and that was intentional. So this was a live event that happened, and there will be more like this in 2026. And this was just me assisting some of the clients who were with me at this live event. And I just isolated this shot just to show you. Now, I'm still a big girl, but you can probably see that I have indeed lost. Now, 35 pounds is, I'm still a big girl, right? But I think you can see the 35-pound loss in this image. At least I hope so. I certainly see it. It certainly has shown up in my clothing fit, and the fact that pair of jeans I'm wearing right now are 4 sizes smaller than the one here. So, and I will keep going. This is not even about how I look, guys. How I look was not the driving force for this. A lot of it was the time that I was in the hospital. As a big girl in the hospital, and being immobile, people had to lift me. My son had to literally lift me so I could get to the toilet, and then he would turn his eyes and so forth. It was just an eye-opening experience. This is not a body positivity garbage for me. This has not garbage. Body positivity is good. You should always love yourself. But the point for me was that I was not embracing body positivity, and it wasn't about that I didn't love myself. I completely love myself, and I want to just acknowledge that my husband never once complained of my size. Thank you, honey. I love you so much. He married me very tiny. I was a fitness instructor during those first initial years. I blew up. I got depressed in the 2008 when the recession took away a lot that we had, including my fitness studio, and I just blew up and I stayed huge. And it is only in this last year that I've made a determined effort to lose this weight. And it has nothing to do with how I'm going to look, and has everything to do. I want to also acknowledge my business coach, Myron Golden. He has been on a body biohacking trend, and he talks about it often, and it has really helped to trigger a lot of the activity that I have taken, because this is, you know, I'm at my age and I want to have longevity for as long as God will give me. This is all about extending the quality of my life going forward. I may look better as a result, but that's not the driving reason for me at this time. So that was that lost 35 pounds. The next thing is my son Daniel has pretty much joined my team. He's been an amazing help to me. Now, I've had a virtual assistant. I've adopted a lot of AI into my workflow, but my family still helps me quite a lot. I tap all my children. I have 4 children, 4 living children, and my husband. They have been very helpful in my business sporadically, but Daniel has been my biggest help. He's actually even taken over my CPR business. For those of you who know that I do CPR, that was something that was left over from my fitness instructor days. And I would have ended it. I would have packed it up because I was bored with it. I had moved on into media. But one of the guests that I interviewed, Mark Golden, thank you very much for your input here. You don't even realize how much you influenced me. He talked about, and this is one of my guests, so I learned from my guests, right? Because they're experts in their space. And Mark shared how a lot of us entrepreneurs, we get, you know, the shiny object syndrome. We get bored, we move on, we pack up our existing businesses for the new ones that we're starting. And he said, he didn't even know that I was guilty, that we should at least sell the darn thing, right? So I decided I would not pack it up. I would keep it with the intention of building it back to a sellable space. But Daniel has taken it over. Daniel has become an instructor. He's doing the trainings now. And so I am so glad that I kept that for him. So yes, so Daniel has joined my team. He's also my photographer, videographer at many of my experiences. And if I'm not in the TV studio, so Daniel has joined my team. Next is not really shown here, but YouTube income and Facebook income have become a new reality in my life. Now, many of you may have been watching my growth on YouTube. The thing with YouTube is qualifying for an income and actually getting a check are very different experiences. So I qualified for YouTube income a long time ago. I was monetized a long time ago. The problem is they won't issue you a check till you've passed or met or passed the $100 threshold, which I did. So it's not, you know, the income to boast about, but it is new income for what I call anyway activity. Also the same for Facebook. I did not even know that was a thing. I saw some notification of money that Facebook had for me, and I promise you, if I was aware, I would have started doing what they needed me to do and up that game a long time ago. But that is also something new for me. And so Facebook income is a new income stream for me. What is on the screen here is Influence Media News, which I have been pushing out to my email list. If you haven't seen it, it's been mostly to my email list. Every now and again, I'll post it on social, but it was in magazine style. And now I've moved it to a newspaper style. And that is a search engine optimization strategy. That's why I did that. So when I did the magazine style, it was a publication that was complete, and it was packaged mostly for my email list. If I posted it on social, that would have been a digital footprint, but it was not meant to be a digital online publication. Moving it to the newspaper style and giving it its own website, by the way, this influencemedianews.com. Now what happens is all those stories live on and create a digital footprint. Guys, I practice what I teach, and what I teach is not theory. It's coming from lived experience, trial and error, and academic research and study. So when I was doing my doctorate, I focused in on the aspects of influential reach. Now, like I said, I'll share my actual doctoral research later, but I continue to do academic studies on the space of influential reach. Now, if you're in the academic space or you look up academic research, there's a lot of research on leadership and influence. And then there is some research which is new to this space because social media has only recently been academically studied. So there is some study on the whole social media follower experience. However, influential reach is in a lane all of its own, and have been doing that quite a lot lately, creating my own lane. So it's one thing, you can be influential or like a big fish in a small pond. You have a lot of influence, but you don't have a lot of follower reach. Or you could be an influencer. So you put on a bikini and you look cute, or you do the popular trending dances or whatever. You get a lot of attention, but you don't really have any true influence. What does that mean? You are able to change someone's behavior. You're able to bring a transformation in their life. So for the influencer, a lot of them will have attention, audience reach, but not necessarily any influence. So influential reach is the thing that I had been studying, where people like myself, expert CEO founders who have domain expertise, domain qualifications, expertise, mastery, we should be the face of our brands. Because what a lot of us have done is we tap those influencers and ask them to be brand ambassadors. Nothing is wrong with that. That has created an income for many of them. The problem is there's also been problems in that space. For example, when Tom Brady, I believe is his name, the football guy, was a brand ambassador for some cryptocurrency, and then a lot of people lost so much money, and then they tried to blame Tom Brady because they're like, because of him they went into it. In other words, he had influence and he had reach. It's just interesting that as an influencer who was in the athletic space, that they use his face and voice to push a product that he has no personal relationship with. So this was what really triggered it for me to study influential reach, so that people with mastery could have also audience reach. And COVID brought this to our attention because when COVID happened, a lot of experts were not online. That's when doctors were for the very first time coming online to share about the questions that we had, and teachers who were the experts in that space had to come online so that they could continue to teach students who were no longer able to come to school. But guess what? The world continued with that online dominion of mastery. And so this is a space that I really wanted to study and understand, so that experts and CEO founders, in particular authors, people with talent who had something to share, a message worth sharing, could do so with more audience reach. So that was a long way to say I took the influence media news from a magazine format into the online news space because of the search engine optimization, which is really a very important aspect of establishing influential reach. All right, so that was a long way to say that, but that experience and expertise has traveled over into the full-time work of PSI TV, because we're no longer just saying we're in media, because media has now done what I went to media to do, to become the cornerstone of influential reach. All right, next is well, this slide doesn't totally get it, but reachology. You've heard me use the phrase reachology. That was my word that I coined, and I have the US trademark, registered trademark for, that I use to define influential reach. So reachology is the science and art of influential reach. It's something that is being studied continuously. So once I got the trademark for that, but even before I got the registered trademark, I had established a Reachology score. Well, in this year, that score got a massive update. The image on the left was what the score was about before. It was 100%. You put the input in, and based on what we know helped with digital reach, it would create its own scoring system based on just user responses. The update that the Reachology score has had, which is since I was done with school, is that now once your input, you tell us who you are and what you want to be known for. So for example, well, you can't see it from this image, but like my doctoral certificate is hanging on the wall. It's a real thing. But if it's not digitally documented, it's not findable, it's not searchable. There's no validation of me saying I've accomplished this doctorate. Same with, if, say for example, you gave birth to a baby at home and the child never got registered, never got a birth certificate. The child literally exists, it's a real thing, but there are no digital footsteps to prove. And this child will have a lot of trouble going on in life trying to establish jobs and school and everything because there's no proof they even exist. Think of that is what I mean by the whole concept of Reachology. So what I did with the score was I took the input form that we always used, but we put an AI back to it. And the AI aspect of it takes your input form and goes back to the internet to see what of what you say about yourself that you want to be known for is visible online, and establishes the visibility gaps that together through our brand consultation of my signature program called the Nom de Valeur program is where we start to close the gap. So I created a whole ecosystem. The ecosystem is the authority architecture, which is another trademark that I'm working on. So the authority architecture is an overarching. It's like, think of if you had a blueprint for the house you're going to build. It's the big vision of how it's going to look, the measurements of everything. It's just the blueprint. It's just a blueprint, okay? And then the Reachology is the let's say the bones of it, the bones, right? The structure that has to be in place. And then the Nom de Valeur is a signature program of the actual implementation of the thing being done, okay? And my TV and influence media news, which are cornerstone media pieces, are assisting to build those authority signals for you. So we have now, and we have the Media Hub, which I'll talk about in a little bit, because the Media Hub is also, I'll talk about that in a little bit. So the Reachology score got an update. I also created the Game of Influence. The Game of Influence is the Reachology score in another version. The Reachology score has a small fee to it because you're going to put your input and the system is going to go and retrieve your customized specific information and give you a customized report of what action steps you can take. That's the Reachology score. The Game of Influence is a more fun experience that just at a very high level teaches the strategy of building digital influential reach, your digital footprint in authority signal form. It's not customized to you. It's a more high level experience of teaching what it means to build influential reach. So the Game of Influence was also built and launched this year. The Media Hub, which I mentioned, I always had it. And a few of you may have even seen it before. I have run, for example, free YouTube challenges, and where I invited people to, for 21 days, to be consistent with their YouTube experience. So some of you have been inside the hub that I had built before. The thing is that I had to work with the software as it existed. So it was functional and it still is used for many things, but I didn't love it. I didn't love it. So the update that I rebuilt but it has not been officially launched yet. It's functional, but I've not had a proper launch. I will do the launch for this in 2026. But the Media Hub does exist. And the Media Hub, I had AI assistants to build this. So it is more the way I wanted it, rather than me utilizing to the best that I could software that was already in existence. And for those of you who have not yet embraced AI, I strongly encourage you to. I'm 60 years old, guys, and if I've done it, I haven't just utilized AI. I have really been a part of AI. So in the early stages of AI, I was one of those that was helping to help with the voice of AI. So it was a behind the scenes experience. And so content was there, and then I was one of those that would say this response from AI versus this response from AI, which one was better, what was lacking, and I would tell the system a better way to have responded to that. And so I was part of the learning phase of AI. I was teaching. I'm not because AI learns as we all write. No. I was employed to be part of that process. Since then, I have also built tools with AI. I have several AI tools that I have built. Now I have a little bit of coding experience, so I'm still more of the still on the closer to the end user side, but I am one of those that can drag, drop, and have the vision for what the thing needs to be, and know which of the tools I'm going to utilize, and the flow, and what needs to be said. So, I'm not the true coder, but I have built several AI tools and used AI to build tools that I have envisioned. So the Media Hub is something I want you to look out for. The Media Hub will be by invite only. You can't pay to be there. But like I said, I will launch that in 2026. So you will hear more about the Media Hub next year. I just wanted to let you know that it was built, it's functional, and it's being tested as we speak. A few people have already enjoyed paid activity in there because that's part of the testing process, but more on that later. Let's see. Hey, Michelle, I see you here on Facebook. Thank you so much, Michelle Lewis. Let me see if on any of the other, I'm not done yet. I still got some other, I'm going to see if I can jump over to another platform, see if there's anybody else on any of the other platforms. Here, let me see. Let's see if I can find this on. Let's see if anything here. I'll worry about that later. All right, because it's also supposed to be on YouTube, and it's supposed to be on, yeah, it's supposed to also be on YouTube. Oh, that's what, I'm not checking the right place. I was checking LinkedIn. I did not put it on LinkedIn. I will upload it to LinkedIn when I'm done, but it's actually not on LinkedIn. So let's see if it's doing what it's supposed to do on YouTube. Why is it still showing me this? Huh. I'll worry about that later. Okay. So the Media Hub. PSI TV, the website, psitvnetwork.com, also got an overhaul. So I rebuilt that website. I no longer had the screenshot of it, but I was able to go back to the old site and grab a mobile view of the old site. So maybe to the initial look, the old site looks prettier than the new site. PSITVnetwork.com, the right-hand side is the new website. The thing is that the new website is more search engine optimized. The first one was doing a good job, and it had a domain score of 27, which has been dropping because of the switch over. But the domain score is not the important thing anymore, guys. So I've been at this for years. So, like about more than 10 years ago, when I had the PSI website, so I had Profitable Stewardship Influence website when I was more in the financial space. And back in the day, there was something called the Alexa score. And the Alexa score was a score based on all the websites in the world. Where did you rank? And there's millions and millions and billions and billions of websites in the world. And back then I had gotten my website to under 100,000, which is huge. Back then it was a lot of work, but then my website got hacked. I lost all those blogs. I was like, the Lord was already pivoting me anyways. So then I rebuilt and I built the PSI TV website, and that got an a domain authority score of 27 at one time. Now, if you know anything about domain authority scores, most websites have no score at all. You're not really even coming on the radar. Using example of the baby again, you had your baby at home and there was no official record. You weren't in a hospital. There's no official record that the baby was born. By the way, that happens all the time, especially when it comes to bad things with children. Anyway, so if you have given birth to your baby, but there's no official documentation of that, that is kind of like what it's like having a website that the search engines are unaware of. And for some of you, you don't even realize it's a simple thing of letting Google know, letting Bing know to crawl your website. It will maybe eventually happen over a very long time, and usually not because you've built the website, usually because there's some other mention somewhere that got picked up. So you need to be doing things to get on the radar. So some websites, and I know this because I check on my clients all the time, have 0 score. Now, if your score is between 1 and 15, you are building a foundation that this internet will recognize. If you're between 16 and 25, you are considered by the search engines an established organization. Over 25, between 25 and 25 and 49, you were an authority in the space. But beyond 50, you were the niche dominator. You control that space. So I had built PSI TV network to a score of 27, but it was at its cap because it was not the platform I built it on was not keeping up with the times. They weren't updating, and so it started to slow down, and it was not giving me enough tools to optimize for search, especially with the ChatGPT becoming a search engine of its own. So I rebuilt the website. Guys, if you know anything about building a website, I know how to build websites. I used to do that for a living a long time ago. I don't do that anymore. I only do it for myself. But I rebuilt the website. So I'm basically a tech developer, right? Because I build the TV apps. I'm like, I can't even believe it. I remember when Amazon sent me the email for the app developer. And I was like, me, an app developer? Yeah, I basically am an app developer. Because I build the apps for television channels as a television channel app. Netflix is an app. Hulu is an app. PSI TV is a TV app. And I build TV apps. I build mobile apps. I build my website. I build AI tools. I am an app developer. Can you believe it? Me? Oh, it's just crazy town. Anyway, so I have updated the PSI TV website. I also built the Trudy Behrman website. And if you've listened to me about authority signals, here's the thing. I have learned by trial and error, guys. Oh, and it's been an expensive journey, a very expensive journey, that when you work with me, you get to bypass the costs and the time that it took for me to learn what I have learned at this point. Whereas I just deliver it to you. You don't have to go through all of what I've gone through to learn what I know. So for example, one of the things I like, PSI TV's YouTube channel, it's at 23,000. I'll show you those scores in a little bit. The problem with that is, I believe if I had been building under the Trudy Behrman name, it would have grown even faster. The reason for that is I started focusing on the Trudy Behrman YouTube site. So I'm coming back to the Trudy Behrman website in a second. Let me just pivot on here for a second. I started to build the Trudy Behrman YouTube channel since finishing school. That channel has grown exponentially faster than the PSI TV one, faster. And I know if I had been building the PSI television channel, YouTube channel under my name, it would have grown, because for a lot of people who know me and are looking me up are finding the Trudy Behrman YouTube channel. And that is partly one of the things that comes out in my non-devil program. Guys, just take this. If you are an A-type personality, run with this tip. This is free. Okay, you need to be building strong authority signals around your name. People are not looking for PSI TV. Most people don't even know the name of my company. I realize that my business coach has millions of followers. Nobody knows his business name. They just know him because he is the brand. I am the brand, and I had to learn that the hard way. So shouldn't have to learn that the hard way. Okay, so I built the Trudy Behrman website because it's part of the authority signals that need to happen to build a brand that becomes recognizable and becomes a niche dominator. Part of the niche domination, part of the influential reach, part of me being my own case study. Remember I said, I don't teach theory. I teach what I know. I teach the lived experiences and the academic research and the continued marketing that I learned. So since being out of school, which it was just in the May, so only since halfway of June, so just under 6 months, I've also appeared in various press mentions. Press mentions are strong authority signals for the search engines, including the ChatGPT. Guys, why? Because they're a third party. I don't want to say endorsement, but for lack of a better word, endorsement. The reason why I don't like the word endorsement, because press is not always positive, right? So if it's a negative press, it is a strong authority signal, but it's a negative one for you. But in my case, they have been positive. So I have been getting different media mentions, which have been very helpful. So I've been covered in press publications. If you work with me in the non-devil program, that's going to happen for you as well. Last but not least, that was just my list. Some stats, I didn't bring all the stats in. I just figured I would just do the ones that were of the most value. So on LinkedIn in this year, I grew by 9,199 followers. So I'm over the 13,000 mark on LinkedIn. On YouTube, the PSI TV channel grew by 9,000 subscribers this year. So last year I ended on 14,000 change, and right now I'm at 23,000 and a couple hundred, right? Grew by 9,000 subscribers. But here's the thing. Since June, the Trudy Behrman YouTube channel has grown by 1695. Do I have another screen? Because I should have. Yes. So here's the thing I wanted to show you. So this is the YouTube channel for Trudy Behrman. In the last 28 days, I had 4,566 views of this smaller channel. So this channel now has over 2,000 subscribers. And what started a lot of this understanding for me is I had gotten a gift from YouTube, the YouTube clapper, like when you say, take one, and the clapper comes down. Somebody looked me up, found the Trudy Behrman YouTube channel, and thought that YouTube sent it to me for crossing the 1,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. That was just like a month or so ago. And it's just been rapid. It's just been rapid. The growth of the Trudy Behrman YouTube channel has been way faster than the established PSI TV channel, which only has, it's not showing here. Why is it not showing? 2,400 views in the same time period. The same time, the established PSI TV, the one that I talk about all the time. Because what is happening is people are looking for me and they're finding the smaller channel. This is why I'm telling you guys, you need to build your personal brand, because people connect with people. They don't care about your company until the company grows big enough. So think Elon, not Tesla. Think Kim Kardashian, not Skims. And for as many hits that Beyonce has had, the personal brand of Beyonce will always far exceed any one of her top hits. You need to build your personal. That's what I learned the hard way, because it cost me, right? It cost me to learn this, which I'm telling you for free. So this is my year 2025 in review. It's just the highlight reel, certainly not the full experience. I wouldn't want to relive 1 year with you on this video. It's a highlight reel, if you will, to acknowledge that God has been so good And I have appreciated you guys, because these numbers would not be possible without you. And I just want to say thank you to all of you who have joined my email list, liked my pages, subscribed, followed, watched, commented. I appreciate all of you. I truly hope that that is happening because I've given you value. I think you guys are smart enough that you wouldn't like, comment, engage if you didn't feel like you got some value. So I just want to acknowledge that and thank you all very much. 2025 has been a blast. I am rolling into 2026 super stoked. All my dreams are on track, and with compounding that knowledge that I've acquired and continue to acquire so that I can better serve you. I know that because I'm making myself a visible case study, right? Because if I can do it for me, it can be done, and I can do it. And if I can do it for me, not only can it be done, I can help you accomplish it. So Dr. Trudy Behrman here. That was my 2025 in review. And thank you for watching live or later. I am super simple to find, and I do look forward to connecting and working with you.